Good afternoon. So the subject is cellular network. Now for cellular network we have a theory exam. In SEM exam 30 marks and SEM exam 70 marks. First we will see the syllabus. So unit 1 is introduction of wireless channel. In that we have to cover introduction, free space propagation model, ground reflection scenario, the model, and receiver noise computation, channel estimation technique, and diversity in wireless communication. So this is unit 1. Then unit 2 is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. In that the points are introduction, motivation, multi-carrier, basics, OFDM example, beat error rate for OFDM, multiple input, multiple output wireless communication, introduction to multiple input, multiple output, wireless communication, multiple input, multiple output, system model, and MIMO OFDM. Then the next unit is unit 3, introduction to mobile communication. So in introduction to mobile communication topic, the points are intro to cellular service progression, cell geometry, overview of cellular mobile and network architecture, cellular radio system design, frequency assignment, frequency reuse channel, concept of cell splitting and cell sectoring, significance of handover in cellular system with hand-off algorithm and roaming. Then next unit, unit 4, wireless system planning. Points are link budget analysis, teletraffic theory, teletraffic system model, and steady state analysis. Then unit 5, wireless and mobile technologies and protocols and their performance evaluation. So points are introduction, wireless and communication technology, LTE, advanced 5G architecture, wireless local area network, and simulation of wireless network. Then the next unit 6, performance analysis issue. So introduction to network coding, the basic having code and significance of information theory, interference suppression and power control, MAC layer scheduling and connection admission in mobile communication. So we will start with the first unit, that is introduction of wireless channel. Now before that we will see what is cellular network. So what is cellular network? A cellular network is basically, it is a radio network which is distributed over a land areas called cells and each served by at least one fixed location transceiver which is known as a cell site or base station. What is cellular network? It is a radio network which is distributed over a land area and it is called as a cells. So each served by at least one fixed location transceiver known as a cell site or base station. Now when joined together, these cells provide a radio coverage over a wide geographic area. So this enables a large number of portable transceiver to communicate with each other and with fixed transceivers and telephones anywhere in the network via a base station, even if some of the transceiver are moving through more than one cell during the transmission. So this is cellular network. Now the basic components of cellular network are mobile station, base station, mobile switching center, public switch telephone network, that is PSTN, So the first basic component is mobile station. Mobile handsets which is used by the user to communicate with other user. Mobile station means what? The mobile handset which is used by the user to communicate with other user. Then base station is the next basic component. Here each cell contain an antenna which is controlled by a small office. Then the next is mobile switching center. Here each base station is controlled by a switching office which is called a mobile switching center. And the next component is PSTN, that is public switch telephone network. Public switch telephone network, that is PSTN, is a network of world's public circuit switched telephone network. So here there are some criteria for the cell shapes, that is geometric shape, area without overlap, area of the cell. Some eligible shapes are square, equilateral, triangle, circle and hexagon. Now the connection between MSBS and MSC and PSTN. The service coverage area of the cellular network is divided into many smaller areas referred to as the cells, and each of which is served by a base station. So the BS is fixed and it is connected to the mobile telephone switching office, also known as the mobile switching center. So MTSO, that is mobile telephone switching office, is in charge of cluster of BS and it is in the turn connected to the PSTN. So MS such as a cell phone are able to communicate with a wireless phone in the PSTN. Both BS and MS are equipped with a trans receiver. So this is all about the basics of the cellular network. Then there are two types of the channel are available between the mobile station and the base station: the control channel and a traffic channel. And the control channel means it is used to exchange the information having to do with a setting up and maintaining call. And traffic channel means and traffic channel means it carry a voice or data connection between the users. So both voice and control channels are further divided into a forward and reverse. So forward channel is used to carry the traffic from BS, that is base station, to mobile station, and reverse means it is used to carry the traffic from MS to BS. So cellular network is radio network made up of number of cellular network is a radio network made up of number of radio cells or just cells, each served by at least one fixed location transceiver known as a cell site or base station. So the example of simple non-telephone cellular system is a taxi driver's radio system, where the taxi company has several transmitters based around a city which can communicate directly with each taxi. This is the example. Now there are some benefits of cellular network. Like the first benefit is more capacity due to a spectral reuse, then lower transmission power due to a smaller transmitter receiver distance, reduced power usage, large coverage area and reduced interference from the other signal. So these are some of the benefits of cellular network. Then characteristics of cellular network are paging, frequency reuse, The channel in the wireless communication indicates that the medium of transmission of the signal, that is open space. Wireless channel is unpredicted. So what are the advantages of digital communication for the wireless? The voice, data and fax can be integrated into a single system. Then better compression can lead to a better channel utilization. Error correction codes can be used for a better quality. Then sophisticated encryption can be used. So these are some of the advantages. So this is all about the introduction or what is cellular system. Now we will start with our first topic, that is introduction of wireless channel. So the channel in wireless communication indicates the medium of transmission of the signal, that is open space, and a wireless channel is unpredictable and also highly variable and random in nature. The channel may subject to the interference, distortion, noise, scattering, etc., and the result is that the received signal may be filled with the errors. So a good understanding of wireless channel is the key physical parameter, and the modeling issue is the foundation for the wireless channel or cellular network. So defining characteristic of mobile wireless channel is the variations of the channel strength over a time and over a frequency. Wireless communication, broadcasting and reception of the signal by an appropriate receiver through wireless medium, or we can say air. The wireless communication involves the transmission of the information over a distance without the help of wire, cable, or any other form of electrical conductors. The wireless communication is a broad term that incorporates all the procedure and form of connecting and communicating between two or more devices using a wireless signal through a wireless communication technologies and devices. So there are some characteristics of wireless channel like path loss, fading, interference, Doppler shift. These are the characteristics of wireless channel. So the path loss means the radio off. Before that, the wireless communication is a broad term that incorporates all the procedure and form connecting and communicating between two or more devices. The path loss, that is the radio of the power of the transmitted signal to the power of same signal received by a receiver. It is dependent on a radio frequency used and nature of the train. Then the path loss model, it has a free space and a two-ray. The free space, that is no attenuation of the signal, only a direct path, and two-ray is the direct path and the reflected path. Then the fading means the fluctuations in the signal strength when received at the receiver. Fluctuations in the signal strength when received at the receiver. So type 1 is a fast and small scale fading. Type 2 is the there are two types basically, fast or small scale fading, and second type is the slow and large scale fading. Fast fading means what? The rapid fluctuations in the amplitude, phase or the multipath delay. Slow fading means what? It objects the partially absorb the transmission. So countermeasure is the adversity and the adaptive modulation. The small scale fading is usually called a fading and it is caused by the multipath signal, so it is also called as multipath fading. Now the multipath signal causes a constructive and destructive addition of the received signal. If the signal pulse is transmitted in the multipath channel, then it will yield a train of pulses with a delay time. Now delay spread is that the time delay between the arrival of the first received signal component and the last received signal component associated with a single transmitted pulse. If the delay spread is small as compared to the If the delay spread is small, then there is a little time spreading in the received signal, and if it is relatively large, then there is a little time spreading of the received signal, that is a signal distortion. The multipath channel is also a time varying, which means either the transmitter or the receiver is moving. It also causes the location of the reflectors will change over a time, and we will limit the model to the narrow band fading, that is the bandwidth is small compared to one delay spread. So physical factors that affect the fading are multipath propagation, speed of mobile, speed of surrounding object, and the transmission bandwidth of the signal. Now the basic components of wireless communication systems are: information is given to the source encoding, then encryption, channel encoding, modulation, multiplexing. Then again the channel is connected, the reverse process is demultiplexing, demodulation, channel decoding, decryption, and the source decoding. Wireless communication system provide a different services like a video conferencing, cellular telephone, paging, TV, radio, etc. Due to the need for a variety of communication services, the different types of wireless communication systems are developed. So some of the different communication systems are television and radio broadcasting, satellite communication, radar, mobile telephones system, that is cellular communication, GPS, infrared communication, Bluetooth, Zigbee, paging. So these are the different types. There are also other systems with each being useful for different application. The wireless communication system can be again the classified as a simplex, half duplex and full duplex. So large scale fading means what? Due to the path loss of the signal as a function of the distance and shadowing by the large object such as a building and hills, and it occur as the mobile moves through a distance of the order of the cell size and is typically a frequency independent. In the small scale fading, it is due to the constructive and destructive interference of the multiple signal path between the transmitter and receiver, and this occurs at the spatial scale of the order of the carrier wavelength, and it is frequently it is and the is frequency dependent. Now the next point is free space propagation. So the free space propagation model assumes a transmit antenna and a receive antenna to be located in an otherwise empty environment. Neither absorbing obstacles nor reflecting the surface are considered. So in particular, the influence of the Earth's surface is assumed to be entirely absent. So the statistical modeling is usually done based on the data measurement made specifically for the internet communication system and the internet spectrum. So they are the tools which are used for the predicting the average signal strength at a given distance from the transmitter and estimating the variability of the signal strength in close spatial proximity to a particular locations. So The free space propagation model is used to predict the received signal strength when the transmitter and receiver have a clear, unobstructed line of sight path between them. In free space, radio signal propagates as a light, that is, they follow a straight line. If such a straight line exists between a sender and a receiver, then it is called as line of sight. So even if no matter exists between the sender and receiver, then the signal still experiences the free space loss. The received power PR is proportional to 1 by 2. What is D? D is the distance between the sender and the receiver, that is inverse square, D square, 1 by D square. Now the free space module, it predicts that the received power decays as a function of TR separation. The free space power received by the receiver antenna, which is separated from a radiating transmitter antenna by distance d, is given by the equation PR of d equal to PT GT GR plus square 4 pi square d square L. Now what is PR of d? It is received power, PT is transmitted power, GT GR is the transmitter and receiver antenna gain. Lambda is what? Lambda is the wavelength, d distance, L is the loss factor. So the gain of the antenna is given by G is equal to 4 pi AT by lambda square. So for the propagation distance d much larger than the antenna size, then the far field of the electromagnetic wave dominate all other component, and this is where we are allowed to model the radiating antenna as a point source with a negligible physical dimensions. So in such a case, the energy radiated by omnidirectional antenna is spread over the surface of the sphere, and it allows us to analyze the effect of distance on the received signal power. Now, free space propagation model. The LOS path exists between the transmitter and receiver. It may be applicable for a satellite communication or the microwave LOS link. So, uh, free space free space equation is given here. I have already told this equation, that is PRD is equal to PTGTGR lambda square. Lambda is what? Lambda is the wavelength. Then PT is the transmitted power, PR is the received power, GT and GR is the transmitter gain and the receiver gain. Then D is the distance of the transmitter receiver separation, L is the system loss factor, and lambda is the, sorry, not bandwidth, it is the wavelength. So path loss is the difference in dB. Path loss means what? It is the difference in dB decibel between the effective transmitted power and the received power. So this equation is important. So the free space propagation model is the simplest path model in which there is a direct path signal between the transmitter and the receiver with no atmosphere attenuation or the multipath component. The two-way model, also called as a two-path model, is widely used for the loss model. So here equation, modified free space equation is given here. Modified free space equation in dB also given, that is in decibel format. The free space path loss model is not directly related to the indoor propagation. As it is required to compute the path loss at a close in reference distance as desired by the model. The free space model gives a measure of the path loss as a function of transmission when the transmitter and receiver are under the range is in a free space environment. Also df is the distance which comprises, it is 2d square by lambda. Capital D is the largest physical linear dimension. Now here is a diagram which shows the d is the distance between the transmitter and the receiver. So the receiver received signal power at distance d. So this is all about the free space propagation. In the next lecture we will continue the two-ray ground reflection model. Thank you.